cheer, master! One cheer! Good speech of Americans! Full top! Yelly! We run ourselves aground! Bestir! Bestir! By my heart! Cheerly, cheerly, my heart! Take in the topsail! Tend to the master's whistle! No! Till I burst my wings! Room enough! You most have care! Where's the master? I pray now, keep below! Where's the master, boatswain? You not cheer him! You moron, neighbour! Keep your cabins! You do assist the storm! Naked, be patient! When the sea is hence, who cares his waters in the name of king? The cabin! Silence! Trouble us not! Good! You remember whom thou hast aboard! None that aboard love than myself! You're a counsellor! If you can command these elements to silence and work the peace of the present, you will not have to break more. Use your authority. If you cannot, give thanks you've lived so long. And make yourself ready in your cabin for the mischance of the hour if it's so hot. Sailing good hard, out of our way I say.
I've great comfort from this fellow. Methinks he has no drowning mark upon him. His expression is perfect gallows.
The legends upon the salvage, they are mounted on the west wall of office. Down with the topmast, yeah, lower, lower, bring it to charge the main corpse. And again, what do you hear? Do we give our drown? Have you mind to sink?
A body of throat, you bawling, blasphemous, incharitable dog!
What?
Hang her! Hang, you horse and insolent noisemaker! We're less afraid to be drowned than thou art!
I warrant him that the ship were no stronger than a nutshell, and as leaky as an unstenched wench.
Lay her a hold! A hold! Set the two courses up to main sea! Lay her off!
The ship is lost! All to press!
All is lost!
All back!
The king and prince are prayers. Let's assist them, for our cases is theirs.
I'm out of patience.
We are merely cheated of our lives by drunkards! This white-cap rascal, without lights my drowning washing of 10 tides!
He'll be hanged yet. Do every drop of water swear against it, and gape as wide as to glut us.
The ship is lost! To sea! To sea! All to the lifeboats! Farewell, my wife! We split!
Captain Tom! Abandoned ship!
Men to sea! The storm outblows us! My king, I shall sink with thee! Let's sink with the king!
Let's take leave with him.
Now like a bastard to see for they come very well. Not being found like anything. The wheels are fucking death, but I would say die dry death.
If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea mounting to the welkin's cheek dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel who had no doubt some noble creature in her dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or ere it should the good ship so have swallowed, and the fraughting souls within her.
Be collected. No more amazements. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day.
No harm! I've done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more than Prospero, master of a full poor servant, I no greater father.
More to know to never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee, father. Lend thy hand and touch my magic arm. So, lie there, my aunt. Wipe thou thine eyes. The direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have with such provision in my art so safely ordered that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as a hair bitted to any creature in the vessel which thou hast cried, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for thou must now know, father.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour is now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear, obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came onto this island? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person? Of anything, the image tell me that have kept with thy remembrance.
'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me?
Thou hadst and more, Miranda. How did this live in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark, backwards and abysm of time? If thou rememberest how thou camest here, how thou camest here, thou mayest.
But that I do not.
12 years, Miranda. 12 years since thy father was Duke of Milan and a Prince of Power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virgin. She said thou wast my daughter.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence? Or blessed was we did?
Both, my girl. By foul play were we heaved thence, but blessedly hold hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the tea which I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you, father.
My brother and thy uncle called Antonio. I pray thee, mark me. Thy brother should be so perfidious. He whom next thyself of all the world I love, and to him put the manager of my state. For as that time through the signories was Prospero, prime duke, being so reputed in dignity and for the liberal arts, without a parallel, those being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being wrapped and transported in secret studies. In thy false uncle, dost thou attend thee?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected how to grant suits, how to deny them, holding both the key of officer and office, that all the hearts of the state to what tune please his ear. Thou attendst not.
Oh, good sir, I do.
I pray thee, mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to the bettering of my mind. My false brother awaits an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in his contraries as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limits, a confidence sans bounds. He, thus being lauded to credit his own lie, he did believe he was indeed the duke, hence his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my libraries were dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties he thinks me now incapable. Confederates, so dry he was for sway of the King of Naples, to give him tribute, do him homage, subject his coronet to the crown, and bend the dukedom yet unbowed. Alas, poor Milan, his most ignoble stupid.
Oh, the heavens!
Mark his condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother.
I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons.
Now, the condition. The King of Naples, being an enemy to me, inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu of the premises of homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all the honours of my brother. Whereon a treacherous army levied. One midnight, fated the purpose, did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of night, ministers for the purpose hurried thence, me and thy crying self.
Alack, for pity! I, not remembering how I cried out then, shall cry it over again. It is a hint that brings mine eyes to it.
Hear a little further, and I'll bring thee to present business, which now's upon's, without the which this story were most impertinent.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My tale does provoke that question. Dear, they durst not. So dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on their business, but with colours fairer painted to their foul ends. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues into sea, where they had prepared a rotten carcass of a boat. The very rats instinctively had quit it. There they hoist us, cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the wind that, sighing back again, did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubim, thou wast that didst preserve me. thou didst smile, infused with a fortitude from heaven.
How came we ashore?
Some food we had and some fresh water that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity, being then appointed master of this design, did give us, with rich garments, stuffs, linens, and necessaries which since have steeded on. And so, of his gentleness, knowing that I love my books, he furnished me from my own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Now I arise. Sit still and hear the last of our slave sorrows. Here in this island we arrived, and here have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than any other princesses can that have more time for vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heavens thank you for it. And now I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind, your reason for raising this sea storm.
No, thus far forth. By accident most strange, bountiful fortune, now, my dear lady, have mine enemies brought to this shore. And by my prescience I find that my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence if now I court not, but omit, my fortunes will ever after droop. Here, seize more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. Come away, my Ariel. I'm ready now. Approach, my Ariel. Come.
All hail, great master!
Brave sir, hail! I come
To answer thy best pleasure.
be it to fly,
Swim!
to dive into the fire.
To ride on the curled cloud.
To
thy strong bidding task.
Ariel, and all her quality.
Spirit, hast thou performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To
every article. I boarded the king's ship. Now in the beat, now in the waist, the deck.
In every cabin I flame amazement.
Sometimes on the fire.
And burn in many places. On the top yard, on the topmast, the yard, and the bowsprit would I flame distinctly.
Then meat and joy.
Jove's lightnings, the precursors, oh the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight outrunnings were not.
The fire and cracks of sulphurous
The
roaring.
most mighty Neptune
Seem to besiege and make his bold waves tremble.
Yea, his dread trident shake.
Of my brave spirit, who was so firm, so constant, that this toil would not infect her reason.
Not a soul, but felt a fever of the mad, and played some tricks of desperation.
all but mariners plunged into the foaming brine and quit the vessel.
Then, all afire with me, the king's son, Ferdinand, with hair upstaring.
Like reeds, not
Was
hair.
the first man that leaped, crying, Hell is empty!
Hell is empty! Hell is empty! And all the devils are here!
Why, that's my Ariel, but was not this my shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair
perished.
On their sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And, as thou badest
In
me,
troops I have dispersed them about the isle.
The king's son, Ferdinand, I have landed by himself, whom I have left cooling of the air with sighs.
In an odd angle of the isle, and sitting, his arms in a sad knot.
Of the king's ship mariners, say how thou hast dispersed and all the rest of the fleet.
Safely in harbour is the king's ship.
In the deep nook where once thou callest me up at midnight.
to fetch dew from the still vexed vermouth.
There
She's hid, all mariners under hatches stowed.
And, with a charm joined to their suffered labours, I have left asleep.
And for the rest of the fleet which I dispersed.
They have all met again and are upon the Mediterranean float.
Bound sadly home for Naples.
Supposing that they saw the king's ship wrecked and his great person perished.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed, but there's more work to do. What is the time of day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. The time twixt 6 and must by us both be used most preciously.
Is there more toil?
Since thou dost give me pain,
Let me remember thee what thou hast promised.
Which has not yet performed me.
How now?
liberty.
Before the time be out no more.
I prithee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakings, served without grudge or grumbling.
Thou didst promise to bait me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what a torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou hast, and thinks it much to tread the ooze of the salt deep, to run upon the sharp winds of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth when it is baked with frost.
I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul with Sycorax, who of age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Argia.
Oh, was she so? I must once in a month account what thou hast been, which thou forgett'st. Was foul with Sycorax for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible to enter human hearing. From Argia thou knowest, was banished. And for the one thing she did, they would not take her life. Is not this true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportst thyself, was then her servant, and for thou wast a spirit too delicate to act her earthly and abhorred commands, refusing her grand hest, she did confine thee, with help of her more potent ministers and in her most unmitigable rage, into a cloven pine. Within which rift imprisoned thou did painfully remain 12 years, within which shape she died and left thee there, where thou did vent thy groans as fast as mill will strike. As for this island, save for the sun she did litter here, a freckled whelp hag born, not honoured with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban.
Caliban.
Her son.
Thou thing, I say so. He, that Caliban who now I keep in service. Thou best knows from what a torment I did find thee. Thy groans that make wolves howl and penetrate the breasts of every angry bears. It was a torment for the damned, which Sycorax again could not undo. It was mine art when I arrived and heard thee that may gape the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I will be corresponding to command and do my spiriting gently.
Do so, and I will discharge thee after 2 days.
That's my noble master.
What shall I do? Say what shall I do?
Go make thyself like a nymph of the sea, subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go take this shape and hither come it. Go hence with diligence. Awake, my dear hearts. Awake. Thou hast slept well. Awake.
The strangeness of your story put heaviness in me.
Shake it off and we'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
'Tis a villain, sir, I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does fetch in our wood, make our fire, and serves in offices that profit us. What ho thou, Caliban? Thou art thou, when?
There is wood enough within.
Come forth, I say, there's other business for thee. Fine apparition, my great Ariel, hearken thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
Thou poisonous slave, got by the devil himself, upon thy wicked dam, come forth.
As wicked do as ere my mother brushed, with raven's feathers from unwholesome fens, drop on you both. Southwest blow on ye, and blister you all over.
For this be sure tonight thou shalt have cracks, side stitches that shall pen thy breath up, sea urchins for that bastard night that they may work all exercise on thee. Thou shalt be pinched, each pinch more stinging than bees that made him.
I must eat my dinner. This island is mine! By Sycorax, my mother, which thou takest from me! When thou camest first, thou strokest me, and madest much of me. Well, just give me water with berries in it and teach me how to name the bigger light. And how the let burn by day and night, and I did love thee. Show thee all the qualities of the isle. The fresh springs, the barren place, the brine pits, the fertile. Cursed be I that did so all the charms of Sycorax codes, beetles back light on you. For I am all the subjects that you have, which first was my own king, but now you do style me in this hard rock, while you do keep from me the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, whose stripes may move not kindness. I have used thee, filth as thou art, and put thee in my own cell, till thou didst seek to violate the honour of my child.
Oh, would it had been done if thou didst prevent me? I'd have people else, the isle with Caliban.
Abhorrent slave, which any prince of goodness will not take, being capable of all ill. I pity thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other, when thou didst not, savage, know thine own meaning, but wouldst cavil like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with words which made them known, but thy violence, though thou didst learn, had that in which good natures could not abide to be with. Therefore wast thou deservedly confined, even to this rock, who hath deserved more than a prison.
Oh, you taught me your language. In my prophet art, I know how to curse. The red plague bring you both for learning me your language.
Had see hence! Fetch us some fuel, and be quick. Thou had best answer other business. Shouldst thou, malice? If thou neglectst or dost unwillingly what is thy command, I will fill thy bones with old aches. Make thee roar that beasts shall tremble at thy din.
No. I must obey for his art of such power. He would control my damned god Setibus and make a vassal of him.
So, slave, hence!
Where should this music be? In the air or the earth? It sounds no more. And sure it waits upon some god on the island, sitting on a bank, weeping again the king my father's wreck. This music crept by me upon the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. And so I have followed it, or it hath drawn me, but 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
Full father, fight thy father lies. Of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. See if Sally ring his knell. Hark, now I hear them. Ding dong bell.
Did he just remember my drowned father? This is no mortal business, nor no sound the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
The fringe curtain of thine eye advance, and say what thou seest yond.
What is it? A spirit? Lord, how it looks about. Believe me, sir, it carries a brave
No, wench. It eats and sleeps and hath such senses as are such. This gallon that thou seest was in the wreck, and but is something stained with grief that's beauty's candies. Some might call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellows and strays about to find them.
I might call him a thing divine, for nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see, as my soul prompts it. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll set thee free from this.
Most sure the goddess on whom these airs attend. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, oh, you wonder, if you be maid or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language, heavens, I am the best of them that speak this speech right where 'tis spoken.
How now? The best? What word thou, the King of Naples, heard thee?
A single thing as I am now that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does I weep. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes never since a tear beheld the king my father's wreck.
Oh, lack for mercy!
Yes, faith in all his lords, the Duke of Milan and his brave son being twain.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter being twain could control thee, if now 'twere fit to do it. At first sight they have changed eyes. Delicate Ariel, I'll free thee within 2 days for this. A word more, sir. I fear you have done yourself some wrong.
Why speaks my father so ingently? This is the third man that e'er I saw, the first that e'er I sighed for. Pity move my father to be inclined my way.
I'll make you the Queen of Naples.
Soft, sir. One word more. I charge that thou dost attend to me. Thou dost here usurp a name thou owest not, and have put thyself upon this island as a spy, to win it from me, the Lord on't.
Know as I am a man.
There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirit have so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell with it.
Follow. Speak not to you for him. He's a traitor. Come. I'll manacle thy neck and feet together. Sea water shalt thou drink. Thy food shall be the fresh brook mussels with the roots and husks wherein the acorn cradled. Follow.
No, I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Oh, dear father, make not too rash a trial of him, for he is gentle and not fearful.
What? I say? My foot, my tutor? Put thy sword up, traitor! Who makest the show and darest not strike? Thy conscience is so possessed with guilt. Come from thy ward, for I can here disarm thee with this stick and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father!
Hence, hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence. One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What? An advocate for an impostor? Hush! Thou thinkst there is no more such shapes as he, having seen but him and Caliban. Foolish wench. To the most of men, this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey. Thy nerves are in their infancy again and have no vigour in them.
So they are. My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's loss, the weakness which I feel, the wreck of all my friends, nor this man's threats do I am subdued, are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid, all corners else o'er the earth let liberty make use of. Space enough have I in such a prison.
It works. Come on, follow me. Spirits, what thou shalt do.
Be of comfort. My father's of a better nature, sir, than he appears by speech. This is unwonted which now came from him.
Thou shalt long be free, but then do exactly all points of thy command.
To the syllable.
Come on, follow.
Beseech you, sir, be merry. You have cause to have we all of joy, for our escape is much beyond our loss.
Prithee, peace. Receives comfort like cold porridge. Look, he's winding the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike.
When every grief that's entertained is offered, come to the entertainer.
Oh, darling,
Dollar comes to him indeed. You have spoken truer than you purposed.
You have taken it wisely than I meant you should.
Therefore, my lord.
Fie, what a spendthrift to feed his tongue.
Prithee, spare. Well, I have done, but yet.
He will be talking.
Which of he or Adrian for a good wager first begins to crow?
The old cock.
The cockerel.
Done. The wager.
A laughter.
A match.
Though this island seems to be desert,
So you're paid.
uninhabitable, and almost inaccessible,
Yet.
he could not miss. It needs be of subtle, tender, and delicate temperance. Temperance was a delicate wench.
Aye, and the subtle as is most learningly delivered.
The air breathed upon us here most sweetly,
As if it had lungs of its own, and rotten ones.
or as 'twere perfumed by a fen.
Here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
Of that there's none, or little.
How lush and lusty the grass looks. How green.
The ground indeed is tawny.
With an eye of green, and
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit,
as many vouched rarities are.
that our garments, being as they were drenched in salt water, hold notwithstanding their freshness and glosses. Methinks our garments are now as fresh as the day we first put them on in Afric, at the marriage of the king's fair daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
Tunis was never graced with such a paragon to their queen.
It's not, sir, my doublet's as fresh as the day I first wore it at your daughter's marriage.
You cram these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense. Would I not married her then? For, coming thence, my son is lost, and at my rate she too, who is so far from Italy removed, I ne'er again shall see her. O thou, mine heir of Naples and of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him, and ride upon their backs. He trod the water whose enmity he flung aside, and breasted the surge most swollen that met him. His bold head above the contentious waves he kept, and oared himself with good arms in lusty stroke to the shore, that his wave-worn bases found as stooping to relieve him. I not doubt he came alive to land.
No, he's gone.
Sir, you may thank yourself for this great loss. That will not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her to an African.
I prithee, peace.
We have lost your son, I dread forever. Men and neighbours have more widows in them than we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own.
So's the dearest, oh the lost.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness, and time to speak it in. You rub the sore, you should bring the plaster.
Very well.
Foul weather is all, good sir, when you were clouding.
Foul weather, very foul.
Had I plantations, sir, and were king on it, what would I do?
Escape being drunk for want of wine.
I, the Commonwealth, I would execute all things. For no kind of traffic would I admit. No name of magistrate, letters should not be known. Riches, poverty, and the use of service.
None.
Born, bound of land, tilth, vineyard.
None.
No occupation. All men idle. All no sovereignty.
Yet he would be king on.
All things in common nature should bring forth in its own abundance to feed my innocent people.
No marrying among his subjects.
None man, all idle, whores and knaves.
I would with such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age.
God save his majesty.
Long live Gonzalo.
And do you mark me, sir?
Prithee, no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
Do you understand, your highness, but did it minister occasion to these gentlemen, who have such nimble lungs, they used to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who in this kind of merry fooling am nothing to you, so you may continue and laugh at nothing still.
Oh, nay, good my lord, be not angry.
No, I warrant you, and I would not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep? For I'm very heavy.
Go sleep, and hear us.
What? Will so soon asleep? I wish mine eyes would, with themselves, shut up my thoughts. I find that they are inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offer of it.
We too, my lord, shall guard your person whilst you take your rest and watch your safety.
Thank you. Wondrous heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
It is the quality of the climate.
Why doth it not our eyelids sink? I find myself not disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell us by consent. They dropped us by a thunderstroke. What might, worthy Sebastian, or what might, no more. And yet, methinks I see it in thy face. What thou shouldst be, the occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head.
What? Art thou wakened?
Do you not hear me speak?
I do. Surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakest out of thy sleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou letst thy fortunes sleep.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snore.
I am more serious in my custom. You must be so too, if heed me to do trebles the earth.
Well, I am standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Do so. To ebb hereditary sloth instructs me.
Oh, if you but knew how the purpose cherish, and thus you mock it.
Prithee, say on. The setting of thine iron, cheap Lacamer, birth indeed which throws thee too much to yield.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance, this who shall be of little memory when he is earthed, hath here almost persuaded, for he's a spirit of persuasion, only professes to persuade the king his son's alive. 'Tis impossible that he's undrowned, and he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Oh, out of that's no hope. What great hope have you? Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Clarabelle.
She that is queen of Tunis, she that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life. Say this were death that now has seized them. Why, they are no worse than now they are. There be that can rule Naples as well as he that sleeps, lords that can pray as amply and as unnecessarily as this Gonzalo. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. What to sleep with this for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I did.
And how does your content tend to your own good fortune?
I do remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. And look how well my garment sits upon me. Much feater than before.
But for your conscience.
Aye, sir. Where lies that? I feel not this deity in my bosom. Here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. If he were that which now he's like, that's dead. Whom I, with the obedient steel, 3 inches of it, can lay to bed forever. While you, doing thus, to the perpetual wink, for I might put this ancient morsel, this Sir Prudence, you should not upbraid our cause. And for all the rest, they'll take suggestions as a cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock 20 business we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be thy precedent. Thou Gosmelin, how come by Naples? Draw thy sword, one stroke shall free thee, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together, and when I ray my hand, do as you like to fall it on Gonzalo. Oh, but one word.
My master through his art foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in, and sends me forth, or else his project die, to keep them living. While you here do snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy, his time doth take. If of life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake, awake!
Then let us both be sudden. Preserve the king!
Why? How now? Ho, away! What are you drawn? Wherefore this ghastly looking?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now we heard a hollow bellowing, like bulls, or rather lions. Didst not wake you? It struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, 'twas a din to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake, Sure, it was the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honour, sir, I heard a humming. And that's a strange one too. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this ground, and let's make further search for my poor son.
Heavens keep him from these beasts, for he is sure to hide the island.
Lead away.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely on to seek thy son.
All the infections that the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, that unprosperful, and make him by intrameal a disease. Spirits hear me, but yet I must curse. But they'll nor pinch, fright me with urchin shows, and pinch me either mine or lead me like a firebrand in the dark. Out of my way unless he bid him. But for every trifle are they set upon me sometimes like apes. They mow and chatter at me. And after bite me. And like hedgehogs, which lie tumbling in my barefoot way and mouth, their pricks at my footfall sometime am I. All wound without is who, with cloven tongues to hiss, is the madness. Lo, now, lo, here comes the spirit of him to torment me. I shall lie flat, perchance he will not mind me.
Oh, here is neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. Oh, and another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind. Yon same black clouds, yon huge ones. Looks like a foul bombard that would shed his liquor. Oh, if it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same black cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. Well, what have we here? Is it a man or a fish? Dead or alive? Oh, a fish. Oh, he smells like a fish. Oh, a very ancient and fish-like smell. A kind of, not of the newest, poor John. A strange fish. Oh, were I in England now, as once I was and had, but this fish painted, oh, not holiday full there, but would give a piece of silver. How would this monster make a man? Any strange beast there makes a man. When they will not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar, they will lazy out 10 to see a dead Indian. Legged like a man. With fins like arms. Whoa! Oh my trot! I do now let loose my opinion. Hold it no longer. No, this is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Oh, alas, the storm is come again. Oh. My best way is to creep under his gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabouts. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I will here shroud until the dregs of the storm be past.
I shall no more to sea to sing. Here shall I die ashore. It's a very scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here is my comfort. The master, the swabber, the boatswain and I, the gunner and his mate, loved Meg, Maul, Marion, and Marjorie. But none of us cared for Kate, for she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to sailors, "Go hang!" She loved not the savour of tar, nor of pitch. Yet a tailor might scratch her where her she did itch. And to sea, boys, and let her go hang. It's a very scurvy tune, too. Well, here is my comfort.
Do not torment me! Ah!
What is the matter? Have we devils here? Do you put tricks upon us with savages and men of Ind? Huh? I have not escaped drowning to be feared of your now four legs. For hath it been said, as proper a man as ever went on 4 legs, cannot make him give ground. And it shall be said again, while Stefano breathes at nostrils.
The spirit torments me! Ah!
This is some monster of the isle, with 4 legs, who hath got, as I take it, an ague. Where the devil should he learn our language? I'll give him some relief if it be but for that. If I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him, he's a present for any emperor who hath trod on neat's leather.
Prithee, do not torment me. I'll bring my wood home faster.
He's in his fit now and does not talk after the wisest. He shall have a taste of my bottle. If he hath never drunk wine afore, it'll go near to remove his fit. In Naples I will not take too much for him. He shall pay for him who hath him. And that soundly.
Thou dost me but little hurt. Thou wilt, and I know this by thy trembling, prosperous works upon thee.
Whoa! Open your mouth. Here is that which will give language to you, cat. This will shake. You're shaking, I can tell you. And that soundly. Open your chaps again.
I should know that voice. It should be. Now, but he is drowned and these are devils, oh defend me!
4 legs and 2 voices. A most delicate monster. If all the wine in my bottle will recover him, I will help his ague. Come, I will pour some in the other mouth.
Stefano!
Doth my other mouth call me? Mercy, mercy, this is a devil and no monster.
Stefano! If thou beest Stefano, touch me and speak to me. For I am Trinculo, be not afeard, thy good friend, Trinculo.
If thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by the lesser legs. If any be Trinculo's legs, these are they. Hey! Thou art very Trinculo indeed. How camest thou to be siege of this moon calf? Can he vent Trinculos?
I took him to be killed by a thunderstroke. Thou art not drowned, Stefano. I hope now thou art not drowned. Is the storm overblown? I hid me under the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm. But thou art breathing, Stefano. Stefano, to Neapolitan to escape.
Prithee, do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
These be fine things, but if not spirits, they be brave gods who bear celestial liquor. I shall kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle how thou camest hither.
I will swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject. That liquor is not earthly.
Swear then, how thou escapest.
Swam ashore, man. Like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Thou canst swim like a duck, thou art built like a goose.
Stefano, hast any more of this?
A whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside where my wine is hid.
How now, Mooncalf? How dost thine aid you?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out o' the moon I do assure thee. I was the man, I the moon, when time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog, and thy bush.
Come,
Swear to that. Kiss the book. We will furnish it anon with new contents. Swear.
Oh, this good lord. This is a very shallow monster. Aye, fit of him. This is a very weak monster. The man of the moon. A most poor, credulous monster.
I will show thee every fertile inch of the island. I will kiss thy shoe. Prithee, be my God.
By this good like a most perfidious and drunken monster. When's God to sleep, he'll rob his bottle.
Come on then. Down and swear.
I will pluck thee berries. I will fish for thee. I will fetch thee wood enough. A plague on the tyrant that I serve. I will bear him no more sticks, but follow thee. Oh, wondrous man.
The most ridiculous monster to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
Oh, brave monster. Lead the way without any more talking. Trinklo, the king and our company else being drowned. We will inherit here. Here, fellow Trinklo, bear my bottle. You will fill him by and by.
Farewell, master. Farewell, farewell.
A howling monster. A drunken monster.
No more dams. I'll make for fish, or fetch and firing as requiring, or scrape a trencher, or wash a dish. Burn back, color back. Get the new master. Get the new man. Freedom, hey,
Oh, brave monster, lead the way.
There be some sports are painful, and their labour delighting them sets off. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. This, my mean task, would be as heavy to me as odious. The mistress which I serve quickens what's dead and makes my labours pleasures. She is 10 times more gentle than her father's crab. He's composed of harshness. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a soaring junction. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work and says, such baseness had never like executor. I do forget. But these sweet thoughts do refresh my labours, busy lest when I do it.
Alas, now pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs you enjoined to pile. Pray set it down and rest you. My father's hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray give me that, I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature, I'd rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonour undergo while I sit lazy by.
It would become me, as well as it does you, and I should do with much more ease, for my good will it is to it, and yours it is against.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I break your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda. Indeed, the top of admiration. Worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women. Never any with such fond soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest Gratiode and put it to the foil. But you, oh you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember safe from my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend, and my dear father. Our features are abroad I'm skilless of, but by my modesty, the jewel in my tower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you. Nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of, but I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget.
I am in my condition a prince man. Do you think a king? I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to yourself. There are sighs to make me slave to it, and for your sake am I this patient logman.
Do you love me?
Oh, heaven, I beyond all else in the world do love, prize, honour you.
Oh, I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two most rare affections. Heaven's rain grace and that which breeds between them.
Wherefore weep you?
At mine unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. Hence bashful cunning and prompt me plain and holy innocence. I am your wife. If you will marry me, if not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
My mistress, dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband then?
I, with heart as willing as bondage year of freedom, here is my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it. And now farewell, to half an hour hence.
So glad of this as they I cannot be, who are surprised all. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. I to my book, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining.
When the butt is out, we will drink water, not a drop before. Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster, the folly of this iron. They say there's but 5 upon this island. We are 3 of them, the other 2 be brained like us as state totters.
Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. My eyes are almost set in thy head.
Well, where should they be set else? You were a brave monster indeed if they were set in his tail.
By this light, the sea cannot drown me. Thou shalt be my lieutenant, monster, or my standard.
Your lieutenant, if you list, he's no standard.
Mooncalf, speak once in thy life if thou beest good mooncalf.
How does thy honour? Let me lick thy shoe. I will not serve him, for he is not valiant.
Thou liest, most ignorant monster. I am in case to justle a constable. Why, thou debauched fish, thou. Was there ever a man, a coward, that hath drunk so much sack as I today? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half a fish and half a monster?
Lo, how he mocks me. Wilt thou let him, my lord?
Lord, quoth he, that monster should be such a natural.
No, again. Bite him to death, I prithee.
Trinklow, keep a good tongue in thy head. If thou prove a mutineer, the next tree. The poor monster's my subject, and he shall not suffer indignity.
I thank my noble lord. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken the suit I made to thee?
Marry will I. Kneel and repeat it. I will stand. And so shall Trinklow.
As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant. a sorcerer who, by his cunning, has cheated me of the island.
Thou liest!
Thou liest! Thou jestering monkey, if I would, my valiant master would destroy me. I do not lie!
Trinklo, trouble the monster once more in sail, and by this hand I will supplant some of your teeth.
Why, I said nothing.
Come on then, and no more. Proceed.
I say by sorcery he got this island. For me he got it, I know thy greatness will revenge it on him. I know thou darest but this thing dare not.
That is most certain.
Thou shalt be lord of it, and I shall serve thee.
How now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, my lord, I shall yield him asleep. There you may knock a nail into his bead.
Thou liest! Thou canst not!
What a pied ninny's this, thou scurvy patch! I do beseech thy greatness. Give him blows and take his water from him. When that is gone, he will drink not, but brine, for I will not show him where the quick freshers are.
Trinklo, interrupt the monster one word further, and by this hand I will turn my mercy out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
Why, I said nothing. I'll stand further off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest!
Oh, do I so?
Take thou that!
As you like it. Give me the lie another time.
I did not give the lie. A pox on your bottle. This can second drinking do. A murrain on your monster. And the devil take your fingers.
Bite him enough out the little time, I'll beat him too.
Continue with your story. I prithee, stand further off.
Why, as I told you, 'tis custom for him in the afternoon to sleep. There you may spring. Having first seized his books, I'll batter his skull with a log. I'll beat him with a stake or cut his wizard with a knife, remember! First, to possess his books. For without them he is but a sot, as I am not having one spirit to command. Burn but his books, for he has brave utensils, as so he calls them. For when he has a house, he will deck withal. And most deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her a nonpareil. I have not seen a woman but Sycorax, my dam, and she far surpass Sycorax, my greatest does
Is it so brave a lass?
Aye, my lord, she will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I will become king and queen. Save our graces. And Trinklo and thyself shall become viceroys. Dost thou like the plot? Trinklo?
Excellent.
Give me thy hand. I'm sorry to beat thee, but while thou livest, keep a good tongue in thy head.
Within this half hour he will be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
Aye, on mine honour.
This will I tell my master.
Oh, thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure. Let us be jocund. Wilt thou draw the clutch you taught me while there?
At thy request, monster, I will do reason. Any reason. Come on, Trinklo. Let us sing. What is this saying? Thou beest a man, reveal thyself in thy likeness. Thou beest a devil. Take it as thy list.
Oh, forgive me my sins.
He who dies pays all debts. mercy upon us.
Art thou afraid?
No, monster, not I.
Be not afraid. The isle is full of noises, sounds of sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about thine ear, and sometimes voices that if I had then waked from a long sleep, would make me sleep again. And then dreaming, the clouds methought would open and show me riches, ready to drop upon me that if I waked. I cried to dream again.
This will prove a brave kingdom to me, where I shall have my music for nothing.
When Prospero is destroyed.
That shall be by and by. I remember the story.
The sound. It's going away. Let's follow and then after do our work.
Lead, monster. We'll follow. Wilt come?
I'll follow, Stefano.
By Larkin, I can go no further, sir. My old bones ache. It's a maze trot indeed. I needs must rest me.
Oh Lord, I cannot blame thee. I am myself attached with weariness. To the dulling of my spirits, sit down and rest. Even here I have put off hope for my flatterer, for he is drowned, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, let him go.
I am right glad he's so out of hope. Do not for one repulse forgo the purpose that you resolve to effect.
The next advantage will we take throughly?
Let it be tonight. For now, they are oppressed with travel, and they will not nor cannot use such vigilance as when they are fresh.
I say, tonight, no more.
What harmony is this? My good friends, hark! Marvellous sweet music.
You ask, good keepers. Heavens, what were these?
The living jollery.
If in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me? If I should say I saw such islanders, certes these are people of the island who, though they are of monstrous shape, yet note their manners, more gentle kind than of our human generation you should find many. Nay, almost any.
I cannot too much muse. Such shapes, such gestures, such sounds expressing, although they want use of tongue, a kind of excellent dumb discourse.
They vanish strangely.
No matter, since they have left their fears behind. For we have stomachs. Would please you taste of what is here?
Not I.
No, you need not fear, sir. When we were children, who would have believed there were such men whose heads stood in their breasts?
I will stand to and feed. Although my last, no matter, since I feel the best is past. Brother, my lord the Duke, stand to and do as we.
You are three men of sin, whom destiny, that cast instrument, this lower world
enemies are all lit up in their distractions. They now are in my power, and in these bits I leave them while I visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose has died, while his and my love darling.
Good sir, why stand you in this strange stare? It is
Monstrous! Thought the billow spoke and told me of it. Winds did speak to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, pronounced the name of Prosper. It did base my trespass. Therefore my son in the ooze is bedded, and I'll seek deeper than e'er from his sounded, and with him there lie mudded.
Oh, but one beat at a time. I'll fight their legions over.
I'll be thy second. All three of them are desperate. Their great guilt like poison begins to work great time after. I do beseech you that of suppler joints, follow them swiftly, and prevent them to what this ecstasy may provoke them to.
Good Gonzalo, follow thee, dear Adrian. Follow, I pray thee.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation make amends. For I have here given you a third of mine own life, for that of which I live. Oh, Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I race far off, for thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise and make a halt behind her.
I do believe it, against an oracle.
Then, as my gift and thine own acquisition, worthily purchase take my daughter. But if thou dost break her virgin not before all sanctimonious ceremonies, made with full and holy rites be ministered, no sweet aspersion shall the heaven let fall, but bow in hate, sour-eyed disdain and discord shall bestrew the union of your bed with weeds so loathly that you shall hate it both. Therefore take heed, as Hymen's lamps light you.
As I hope, the quiet days fair issue and long life, such love it is now. The murkiest den, the strongest suggestion, the most opportune place. Our worst genius shall never melt mine honour into lust, to take away the edge of that day's celebration, when I shall think, or Phoebus' steeds are founded, or night kept chained below.
Fairly spoke. Sit then and talk with her. She is thine own. What's my industrious servant, Ariel? Come.
What would my potent master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner fellows your last service worthily did perform. I must use you in another trick. Go bring the rabble over whom I give thee power. I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it from me.
Presently.
Aye, with a twink.
Before you can say come and go! Or breathe twice and cry, so. Do you love me, master? No.
Really, my delicate Ariel. Do not come till thou dost hear me call. Look, thou be true.
I warrant you, sir. The white cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardour of my liver.
Come, my Ariel, appear impertly. Bring a pageant rather than want a spirit. All eyes, no tongues, be silent.
Ceres, most bounteous lady, thy rich lees of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats, and peas, thy turfy mountains, where live nibbling sheep, and flat meads thatched with stover, them to keep, thy banks with peoned and twined brims, which spongy April at thy Hesper trims, to make cold nymphs chaste crowns, and thy broom groves, whose shadow the dismissed bachelor loves, being lass-lorn, thy pole-clipped vineyard and thy sea marge, sterile and rocky hard, where thou thyself dost err, the queen of the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I, bids thee leave these and with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot, in this very place, to come and sport. Her peacocks fly amain, approach, rich series, her to entertain. Hail, many-coloured messenger that ne'er dost disobey the wife of Jupiter, who with thy saffron wings upon my flowers diffusest honey drops, refreshing showers, and with each end of thy blue bow dost crown my bosky acres and my unshrubbed down. Rich scarf to thy proud earth, why hath thy queen summoned me hither to the short grass green? A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to estate on the blessed lovers. Tell me, heavenly beau, if Venus or her son, as thou dost know, do attend the queen, since they did plot the means that dusky dis my daughter got, her and her blind boy's scandaled company I have forsworn. Of her society, be not afraid. I met her deity, cutting the clouds towards Paphos, and her son dove-drawn with her. Here they thought to have done some wanton charm upon this man and maid, whose vows are that no bedright shall be paid, till Hymen's torch be lighted. But vain. Mars's hot minion is returned again. Her waspish-headed son has broke his arrows, swears he will shoot no more but play with sparrows, and be a boy right out. Highest queen of state, great Juno comes, I know her by her gate. How does my bounteous sister go with me to bless this way, that they may not be and honoured in their history? Honoured riches, marriage blessing, long continuance and increasing, hourly joys be still upon you. Juno sings her blessings on you. Earth's increase, foison plenty, barns and garners never empty, vines and clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly birth and bowing. Spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest. Scarcity and want shall shun you, Ceres' blessing so is on you.
This is a most majestic vision, and harmoniously charming. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits which by mine art I have called from their confines to enact our present fancies.
Let me live here ever. So rare a wondered father and a wife make this place paradise.
Sweet, now, silence. Juno and Ceres whisper seriously. There's something else to be done. Hush and be mute, or else our spell is marred.
You nymphs, cool naiads of the wintering brooks, with your setted crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels and on this green land answer your summons. Juno does command, come, temperate nymphs, and help to celebrate this contract of true love. Be not too late. You sunburnt sicklemen of August weary, come hither from the furrow and be merry. Make holiday, your rice your hats put on, and these fresh tints encounter everyone in comfort of day.
I thought no more!
Strange. Your father's in some passion that works him strong.
Never till this day saw I in touch with anger so distant.
Did you look, my son, in a move sort, as if you were dismayed? Be cheerful, sir. Our revels now are ended. And these our actors, as I foretold you, are all spirits, and are melted into air. To thin air. And like the basest fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit, shall dissolve. And like this insubstantial pageant faded, not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made of. And our little life is rounded with a sleep. Sir, I am vexed. Bear not with my infirmity. My brain is troubled. Bear with my weakness. If you be pleased, retire into my cell and there repose. Eternal too, I'll walk to still my beating mind.
We wish your peace.
Come with a thought. I thank thee, Ariel. Come.
Thy thoughts I cleave to. What's thy pleasure?
The spirit we must prepare to meet with the beast Caliban.
Aye, my commander. When I presented Ceres, I thought to have told thee of it.
But I feared, lest I might anger thee.
Say, where did thou last leave these varlets?
I told you, sir. They were red hot with drinking, so full of valour that they smoked the air for breathing in their faces, and they beat the ground for kissing of their feet, yet always bending towards their project.
Then I beat my tabor, at which, like unfelt colts, they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, lifted up their noses as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears, that calf like my lemon followed through, tooth briars, sharp furzes, pricking goss and thorns, which entered their frail shins.
At last, I left them in a filthy mantled pool beyond your cell. They're dancing up to the necks. That's the foul lake o'erstump their feet.
This was well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible retain thou still. The trumpery in my house, go bring it hither, for stale to catch these thieves.
I go.
A devil, a born devil on whom nurture and nature can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. And as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all, even to roaring. The spirits, come hang them on this line.
Pray you tread softly, so that the blind man may not hear thy footfall. We are now near the cell.
Monster! Your fairy, which you say is a harmless fairy, has done little better than played the jack with us.
Monster, I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is at great indignation.
As is mine. Do you hear, monster? If I should take displeasure against you, look you.
Thou wert but a lost monster.
Good, my lord. Give me thy favour still and be patient. For the prize I will bring thee shall hoodwink this mischance. Therefore tread softly, all's hushed, as midnight yet.
Aye, but to lose our balls in the pool.
I will fetch off my bottom, though I be ears for my labour.
Prithee, my king, seest here the mouth of the cell, no noise, and enter, and do that good mischief. Thou make this island thy own, for I, thy caravan, for I, thy footlicker.
Give me thy hand. I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
Oh, King Stephano! Oh, hero worthy Stephano! What a wardrobe is here for thee!
Let it alone, thou fool! This is but trash!
Oh, monster! We know what belongs to frippery. Oh, King Stephano!
Put off that gown, Trinculo. By this hand, I'll have that gown.
My grace shall have it.
What does it mean to dote such luggage? Let us alone and do the murder first. If he wakes, from toe to crown, he will fill our shoes with pinches and make us strange stuff.
Oh, be you quiet, monster. Now, Mistress Jerkin, is the line not under? Now, Jerkin, you are like to lose your hair and prove a ball, Jerkin.
Do. We steal by line and level, and like your grace.
I thank thee for the jest. Here's a garment fort, which shall not go unrewarded while I am king of this kingdom.
Monster, put some lime upon your fingers and away with the rest.
I will have none of it. We will lose our time and all be turned to barnacles or apes with foreheads villainous low.
Monster, lay to your fingers. Help to bear this away where my hogshead whines, or I will turn you out of my kingdom. Go to. Carry this.
And this.
Aye, and this.
Shortly shall all my labours end, and thou shalt have the air of freedom. For a little, go thou and do me service. Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How's the day?
Past the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work would cease.
I did say so when first I raised the Tempest. Say, how fares the kings and followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them.
Your charm so strongly works them, that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
And mine shall, as thou shalt but e'er touch a feeling of their afflictions. And shall not myself, one of their kind, who relish all a sharply passion as they, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason, gateous my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They be impenitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. Go release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
lakes and groves. And ye that on the sands with printless foots do chase the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back. Demi-puppets that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the ewe not bites. And you, whose pastime is to make the midnight mushrooms, who rejoice to hear the solemn curfew, by whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and azure vault set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. The strong base promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves, at my command, have waked their sleepers, oped and let them forth, like my so potent art. This rough magic I hear of Jaw. When I have acquired some heavenly music, which even now I do to work mine end upon this senses that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms within the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book. The solemn air and the best comforter to an unsettled fancy cure thy brains, now useless, boiled within thy skulls. There stand, for you are spell stopped. O holy Gonzalo, honourable man, mine eyes even sociable to show thine full fellowly drops. The charm begins to dissolve apace, and as the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness, so their rising senses begin to chase the ignorant fumes that mantle their clearer reason. Good Gonzalo, and a loyal sir to him you followest, I will pay thy graces home both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pitched forth now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood, you, brother mine, who entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, who, with Sebastian, whose inward pinches therefore are most strong, would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. Not one of them that yet looks on me or would know me, Ariel. I will disgrace me and myself present as I was sometime milling. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt long be free.
In a couch's spell I lie, the couch where owls do cry, on the bat's back I do fly, after summer merrily, merrily shall I live now, under the blossom that hangs on the bough, merrily shall I live now, under the blossom that hangs on the bough.
Oh, that's my dainty Ariel. I shall miss thee. So. Invisible as thou art to the kingship, there shalt thou find the mariners asleep under the hatches. The master and the boatswain being awake, enforced into this place. Presently, I prithee.
I drink the air before me!
Or else your pulse twice beat.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us from this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan. For more assurance that a living prince does now speak to thee, I embrace thine age. And to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome.
How beest he, or no, or some enchanted trifle to appease me? As of late I know not. Thy pulse beats as if of flesh and of blood, and since the affliction of my mind amends, I fear a madness has held me. This must crave, and if this be at all, a most strange story. Thy dukedom I resign, and do entreat thou pardon me my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living, and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honour cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of the isle, which will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends, all. But you, my brace of lords, were I so minded I here to pluck his highness's frown upon you and cast you traitors. At this time, I will tell no tales.
The devil speaks in him.
No! For you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest faults, all of them, and require from thee my dukedom, which perforce I know thou must restore.
Thou beest, Prospero. Give us the particulars of thy preservation, how thou hast met us here, who 3 hours since we were wrecked upon this shore, where I lost... How sharp the point of remembrance is. My dear son Ferdinand.
I am woe for it, sir.
Irreparable is the loss. Patience says it is past her cure.
I rather think you have not sought her help, of whose soft grace for the like loss I have her sovereign aid and rest myself content.
You the like loss?
As mean to me is late. Have I means much weaker than you may call to support you? For I have lost my daughter.
Daughter. They were both living in Naples, the king and queen there that they were. I wish myself were mothered in that oozy bed where my son was. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest. Know for certain that I am Prospero, that very duke which was thrust forth of Milan, who most strangely, upon this island where you were wrecked, was landed to be the lord on't. No more yet of this, for 'tis a chronicle of day by day, not a relation for a breakfast, nor befitting this first meeting. Welcome, sir. This sails my court. Here have I few attendants and subjects none abroad. I pray you, look in. My dukedom since you have given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing. At least bring forth a wonder, to content ye as much as me, my dukedom.
Sweet lord, you play me false.
Oh, my dearest love, I love the world.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should rankle, and I was proved fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I lose twice.
Most high miracle, though the seas threaten the unmerciful, I've cursed them without cause.
Oh, the glad blessings of a father compass thee about. Arise and say how thou camest here.
I wonder, how many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. Oh, brave ye world that has such people in it.
'Tis new to be.
Who was this maid that thou wast at play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. Is she the god that hath served us and brought us thus together?
Sir, she is mortal, but by a mortal providence she is mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom so often I have heard renowned but never saw before, of whom I received a second life. The second father this lady makes him to me.
I am hers. Oh, how oddly will it sound that I must ask my child for forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burden our remembrance of the heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, or should have spoke here of this.
Look down, you God, and on this couple drop a blessed crown.
I say, amen, Gonzalo.
Was Milan thrust from Milan, that his issue should become King of Naples?
Oh, rejoice beyond a common joy.
Give me your hands. And let grief and sorrow and embrace his heart that doth not wish you joy.
Be it so. Amen. Oh, look, sir! Look, sir, there is more of us! I prophesied if a gallows were on land, this fellow could not drown. Now blasphemy that swearest grace aboard, not an oath on shore. Hast thou no mouth by land? What is the news?
Best news is, we have safely found our king and company. The next, our ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave out split, is tight and and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea.
Sir, all this service have I done since you went?
My tricksy spirits.
These are not natural events. They strengthen from strange to stranger. Say, how came you hither?
If I did think I were well awake, I'd strive to tell you. We were dead of sleep, and how we know not, all clapped under hatches, where but even now with strange and several noises of roaring, shrieking, howling, jingling chains, and more diversity of sounds, all horrible, we were awakened straightway at liberty, where we, in all her trim, freshly beheld our royal, good, and gallant ship, our master capering to eye her. On a trice, so please you, even in a dream, we were divided from them and brought moping hither.
Was it well done?
Bravely, my diligence.
This is a strange maze as ere men trod. There is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. At quick leisure, which shall be shortly, single I'll resolve you, which to you shall seem probable, of all these particular accidents. Until then, be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell. How fares, my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company. Some few odd lads you remember not.
Let all men shift for all the rest. Let no man take care for himself. For all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio.
If these be true spies which I wear in my head is a goodly sight.
Oh, Septimus, these be fine spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I am afraid he will chastise me.
Mark but the badges of these men, my lords, and say if they be true. This misshapen knave. His mother was a witch, and one so strong who could control the moon, make flows and ebbs, and deal in her command without her powers. These 3 have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he's a bastard one, hath plotted with them to take my life. 2 of these fellows you must know and own. This thing of darkness, acknowledge mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is this not Stefano, my drunken butler?
He is drunk now. Where hath he wine?
And Trinculo, who was reading right. Where shall they find this grand liquor that hath gilded him? Say, how camest thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last. I fear me never out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
Why? How now, Stefano?
I'm not Stefano, but a cramp.
You'll be the king of the isle.
I would have been a sore one then.
Go to, Sirrah. Away. And take your companions with you as you look to have my pardon. And trim it handsomely.
I will be wise hereafter and seek for grace. What a trice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool.
Go to, away!
Hence, and bestow your luggage where you found it.
Who stole it, brother?
Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, where for this one night you shall take your rest, which part of it I'll waste away with such discourse as I have no doubt will make it go quick away. The story of my life and the particular accidents gone by since I came to the island. And in the morn I'll bring thee to your ship, where I've hoped to see the nuptials of these, our dear beloved, solemnized. And then retire me to my millet, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life. It must take thee here strangely.
I'll deliver all. Promise smooth seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious that shall catch your fleet far off. Evan, my chip. That is thy charge. Then to the elements. Be free and fare thou well. Please ye, draw near. Now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have is mine own, which is most faint. 'Tis true I must be here, confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardoned the deceiver, bear in this dwell island by your spell. But release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enchant, art to enforce, and my ending is despair. Unless I be relieved by prayer, so that it salts mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free.